Hello friends, this is the Cryptonian taking a look at Bitcoin and a glance at the market. Bitcoin is currently 27,371, and this is pretty much what we expected. We talked about this in previous video. This is where we are now under the 27,500 line. That's very important. But first we'll take a look at the market as a whole. We do have banter bubbles here on the screen, and this is showing that some of the altcoins, and these are altcoins that are pretty much traded heavily. They're not necessarily long-term investments right now, in my opinion, of course, not investment advice. But we can see here that XTZ is up 7%, Ruin up 4%, BSV up 3%, Aave only 1%, Render 1%, Rollbit up almost 4%, 3.7, and Clay 3.3, Flow 2.5, Vet 2.0%, STX 1.6. Now we do have losers as well. Tomy 11% down, Kaz down 8%, XRD down 7.2%, and all of this is under the pullback of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is down 0.5% right now at this time. ADA down a little bit more than 1%. Now, what I'm expecting here on this chart, as far as price action goes for Bitcoin, Bitcoin currently is under an S2 on the 1 hour. This is reinforced by a recent S1 a few hours ago. And so we're just pushing our way down here. And I'm expecting to find a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of resistance and purchasing coming in here around that 27,100 area, 27,150, something like that. But you can see that we're slowly just grinding down, right? And that is not, it's not a surprise because the macroeconomics is not really good. On the 4 hour, we can see that the 200 moving average here is coming in at about 27,100, and so I think that's probably going to, at least for a temporary bounce, show some support there. Price probably will see a little bit of a buying here, a little bit of a bounce, an effort by the bulls to hold the price here at this level. 27,000 is critical. If we do go below 27,000, then I do think that's going to be somewhat very, very bearish. So that means we'll be under the 200 moving average on the 4 hour. And if we go down to 27, yeah, that will put us back in this area here, which is right above that breakout line here. Now, we would still be above the bullish golden pocket here, but we need to remember the point of control on the 4 hour is right here, 26,600. If we break 26,600, that's probably going to be an issue. If we break it briefly, not a problem, but we would have to regain it quite quickly. So I'm still saying 27,000 is a very important price point for Bitcoin, and below that we do have the golden pocket coming in 26,745 and 26,300. These are your levels where the golden pocket for the bulls does sit on the 4 hour time frame. Now, why would the altcoins be bouncing? Well, we've talked about before that whenever Bitcoin is boring, then the altcoins do see some activity, and that's what we're seeing today. Of course, these are high-risk coins, and in my opinion, more like trader coins, right? That being said, you can see here that Bitcoin is just going sideways on the daily, right? We're not seeing a massive sell-off right now. It's just a slow, steady grind to the downside. And so this tells me that, you know, the market right now is somewhat confident. They're not experiencing a lot of panic and fear. What you see is just short-term trading activity, and the majority of the holders, the large long-term holders, or the holders that have, like the whales, the holders that have a large amount, they're not selling. So on the daily, this is very important. Daily is the 200 moving average is at 27,050. And this is why it's so important here to hold that 27,000 level, because if we lose the 200 moving average on the daily, then that is the definition of a bear trend. And if we lose that, then what I'm looking at is most likely 26,200 down here. And then if we lose that, then we're going to be testing 25K down here. So those are your price points, 27,000. And then if that does not hold, 26,250, 240, that would be price action here, although most likely that would not hold. And or if it does briefly, probably would do something like this, right? But we'll have to wait and see. I'm not seeing any panic right now. I'm just seeing a small correction. It's more like a wait and see attitude. And this is the reason why I said you don't want to chase the market. And this is the reason why, right? And we can see here on the 4-hour, the correction coming down here. You can see this is the nice strong uptrend that we had. And of course, we ran into a lot of resistance. I was telling you we were running into resistance at 28,000, and we just couldn't hang on to 28,000. And then, this war starts between Israel and Hamas, and it just takes the wind or momentum right out of Bitcoin. But again, we don't see panic selling yet. It's just a gentle, slow grind to the downside. So taking a look at the 4-hour, we do see 37 is the RSI. So we are weak. We are under a S2 signal. This is confirmation of a downtrend. We had the S1 signal up here, and I usually point to these early signals to give us an idea of what may be coming. And of course, we did see a small bounce here, but then we lost that area. The EMA trend is bearish, and that's because we now are under an S2 change of trend signal, and the DMA is bearish, and that's usually an early reversal signal. We're in expansion, okay? So let's take a look at our Cryptonian volatility mod. Whoops. Cryptonian volatility mod. There we go. This is showing that we are in expansion, and that expansion is, it started out as a peak here, and now we're expanding to the downside. So this is an expansion to the downside, but it does not look like it has caught momentum or acceleration yet. Okay, so it may catch momentum or acceleration once we get below that golden pocket for the bulls. Again, if we go below that 26,300, that's going to automatically, in my opinion, put us down testing the $25,000 area. We are not in reversal, okay? So this move is expected to continue. Like I said, probably testing 27,150, 27,100. That would be the 4-hour 200 moving average. And then, of course, there is the 200 moving average on the daily, which is coming in right around that area. So the 200 moving average is the same price point generally on the 4-hour as the daily. So, and that you can see here, this is the expansion on the daily. So again, not really concerned about this price action yet. If we start breaking that 26,300 level, that would be concerning. And then we'll come right down here to test that 25. So that being said, October may not be as bullish, may not be, well, actually it's probably not going to be as bullish unless we see a bounce here at 26 or 27,000 and push higher unless we see a bounce there and make some progress up into the 28, 29K. October probably will not be what everyone was expecting as far as big gains. Now, let's be honest, we still have an uptrend. Okay, this is the daily. This is what I'm seeing. Higher lows. This could be, if we bounce here, another higher low, another higher low. And if we, this is the line, the uptrend that we need to maintain if we're going to maintain the momentum to the upside. This node here, this volume node, if we do go below it, then we could see a lot of resistance. And I said this before in previous videos that this price area, because of all of this volume traded in this node, this area of price would be very difficult, would pose a challenge for Bitcoin. And that's exactly what happened. We're running into a lot of resistance, a lot of selling, and we're just not seeing that risk on behavior of purchasing, pushing it higher and higher right now. We're more likely to see a wait and see attitude because of the war and economic, macroeconomic conditions. Now on Twitter, my Twitter X account, I did share, let me see this, pull this up real quick. I did share an interesting article from Cointelegraph, and it says BTC price rally in doubt question mark, Bitcoin young supply echoes 2022 bear market. And so basically what we see here in this article is they make an argument that we're just not seeing the coin activity like we should if we're going to see a nice strong move higher. Okay, and you can take a look at this at length if you'd like, but they talk about the sentiment shows, or should I say the coin action, the coin movements, because it's on chain and you can see the movement of all of these coins and how long that they've been held, and you know what coins are selling and how long that they were held for. And so what this is showing is that there's uncertain sentiment in the market right now. Okay, and so I would say if you're up for a good read, this is probably good information. Helps you understand how coin analysis takes place on chain. And what's very important here, it says the spot price is currently circling the aggregate cost basis for so-called short-term holders, defined as entities hodling a given amount of BTC for 155 days or less. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that the aggregate cost, right? Price is getting close to that aggregate cost. If we go below the aggregate cost, then you're going to see losses in the coins being held by the hodlers or holders that are considered short-term, less than 155 days. And you're going to see this start to, you may see some of those coins being sold, and this will add to downside pressure, sell pressure in the market, and that we need to be aware of that, right? So like I said, macroeconomic conditions for now have pretty much taken the wind out of the market. And I talked about this in previous videos. You know, I asked, where is the liquidity going to come from? You know, we're seeing a lot of leveraged positions. We're seeing a lot of trading activity. Well, not a lot, but you know, some. But we're not seeing that bullish sentiment of new buyers, new liquidity coming into the market, right? And holding long term. Now we do see activity, you know, whales, they're always buying. They're always buying because they have a time horizon of years, you know, 3-5 years out. However, we're seeing the short-term holders, we're seeing that if we get below that aggregate price, we could see some selling take place, right? So that is what we need to be paying attention to. Currently on the daily, we can see here the RSI 53, which is neutral. So on the daily, which is more important than the short term 4 hour and 1 hour, we are still in an uptrend. We are still above the 200 daily moving average. This is bullish. And we are at a 53 RSI, which shows that we are still slightly bullish, slightly strong. More so neutral than before, which is expected because of the economic news and the macroeconomic outlook with the war. And the EMA trend is still bullish. We're still in that green cloud, right? Now we're coming back to test the 30 and most likely the 200 here. So this is going to be a critical time. If Bitcoin comes down and cannot regain momentum and get back above that 27,500 to go higher, then most likely we will fail here and start grinding down on this breakout line. And that's not going to be good. Okay, that's a loss of momentum. DMA trend is bullish, and we don't even see an S1 signal here yet. But if this continues, if we come down, start grinding down, we will see an S1 preliminary change of direction signal. We received an S1 here, and then it was followed by a B1 and then a B2. That B2 is a confirmation of trend reversal. If this comes down and we see a S1 and then it cannot gain momentum, breaks the trend, the S2 will signal a reversal in trend. And then it's just a matter of waiting to see how low we go, right? So that being said, we are in expansion, no reversal, and we talked about that on the lower time frames. And we've lost the daily pivot, 27,612. So currently 27,350. This is very important for Bitcoin to stay above that $27,000 level, which is the 200 moving average. So there you have it, friends. We just need to be patient and wait and see if the market will wait this out without major selling. And if the market kind of takes time to digest this war in Israel, because let's be honest, we've seen a lot of conflicts, over the years. And, of course, the U.S. will be drawn into it. But that being said, if the markets are not intimidated too much by this war, they may hang on to this $27,000 level. I don't think so. I think we're seeing long-term liquidity issues. But let's stay positive. Let's stay hopeful. We're still bullish, and until we break that $27,000 level, we have to call it the way we see it, which is right now it's still bullish. Although we're seeing a lot of struggling in this area. So the next week will tell us more information. The end of this week and next week will pretty much show us what we're dealing with as far as price action. So thank you, friends. I appreciate your time. Please click like if you appreciate the information, and also subscribe as well. We greatly appreciate your time, your attention, your viewership and loyalty. We're trying to grow the account, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much for your time. Take care.